Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Miami Jewish Film Festival, the world's largest festival of its kind. And we want to thank all of our members, our sponsors, our community partners, and all the film lovers out there, and especially our presenting sponsors, the Center for the Advancement of Jewish Education and the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, for their continued support throughout all these years. My name is Danny Reed. I'm a volunteer with the Miami Jewish Film Festival, and I'm very excited to be here tonight and moderate a virtual conversation with the director and writer Amnon Carmi and co-writer and one of the stars of the movie Yaniv, Ben Ducoff. It is premiering at this year's festival. So, gentlemen, I want to welcome you, and thank you so much for being here and for presenting us with I hope you're not insulted. I want to use the word cute because it's a really cute movie.
I'll take it.
You'll take it?
Yeah. Okay. Why not? I like it.
And there's a lot of things about it. It's about this. Like I told you earlier, I had to look up what is Yaniv, and all of my Israeli friends you haven't heard of Yaniv, the card game, and it's a bromance, which I really like. I really like the fact that the emphasis is on the bromance, even though there is a little romance on the side. It's a bromance too, which is it's very cool. It's very, very nice to see. But let's start at the beginning. Like, you're both the co-writers, correct? So you've known each other for a while?
Yeah, over 20 years.
Either of you can answer. Yeah. 20 years. So you both went to school together?
We met in fourth grade.
At recess.
You met?
Tetherball.
Yeah, playing
at recess. Okay.
Yeah. That was our first.
Playing tetherball. Oh my God. That's that's very Napoleon Dynamite. That's very 70s. That's very cool. But you're both New York.
Very good. No. We're from Cleveland.
We're from Cleveland. Yeah.
Oh, you're from Cleveland. Okay. Yeah. Tetherball is not like a New York thing. That's really so I assume really. Yeah, that's Midwest, I guess. That's cool. Very nice. And so you've known each other since fourth grade. You both, I guess, I'm assuming, did you both think that you would, go into the arts?
I think it's a safe bet. We've been making videos since we met. And even as we branched off onto our college careers and whatnot, it was very much in the arts. I started out at Cleveland Institute of Art. I was doing design and animation. Ben was an actor at BU, and life brought us back together, thankfully, here in New York City, which kind of created a stage for us to continue our collaborations on a much bigger scale.
And is this the first collaboration, like professional collaboration, you've had in long form?
No. Our first real professional collaboration came, a few years ago. Amnon was working for a startup called Mezu that was producing a virtual game show, and they needed a writer. So they brought me on board, and he and I made that show last for about a year and a half. And that was when we first learned how to, develop a workflow really in the weeds.
And in a crisis too. I mean, 200 episodes streaming multiple times a week over the course of over a year really whittles you down to the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know how to work on the fly as well, I would assume.
That's where we learned it.
And under pressure.
Yeah.
We were winging it most of the time. Yeah.
So, I was watching, let's talk about Yaniv, right? Let's one of the most obvious questions is, how did you get the idea, and which one of you came up with the idea first about doing a movie about this card game?
It happened both, and this is the magic of, working so intimately with someone for so long. We literally, you might not believe me, but we literally came up with it at the same time. We were playing Yaniv during the pandemic. There was nothing else to do. It was the middle of summer. And, we had always talked about how this game should be in every casino in America. And, I am a teacher, and Amnon we should talk about this maybe a little later. Amnon and I run a whole filmmaking educational program for high school students. We both work with we're both very much involved in school life, and this idea just came to us, and we ran with it.
Well, how did you first hear about this card game?
So that would probably be on my end. So I've lived in Israel on and off. I mean, being raised in an Israeli household, didn't have much of a choice, and I loved it too. In my early 20s is when I finally caught on to the Yaniv game, and everyone was playing it, and it was super easy to learn and really fun. So it just kind of spreads like really fast. And when I came back to the States, I taught it to Ben as well as my other friends. But that is, in the pandemic, when you don't have anything to do,
Right.
what better game to play than Yaniv? So, yeah.
That's very cool. So
3 hours
came
can
up with
pass
this
so
idea.
fast.
Yeah, hours.
Right.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure, I'm gonna have to teach it to my kids, obviously, and my wife. So you both came up with this idea at the same time, and then did you start discussing what the movie would be about, or which one of you just said, okay, I'm going to set down some ideas and see if I can work out some type of plot?
We sat down. Amnon is a really talented outliner. I'm more scatterbrained, so I'm like throwing out all these ideas at him, and there's and we knew it was a great idea, so there was a lot of energy in the room. It was hard for me to talk a little bit, and he would kind of I would throw out an idea at him, and he would remind me that's that totally doesn't solve another issue that we have. He would kind of instruct me to go write some dialogue here and there, and slowly but surely we just kind of pieced this thing together, and it really went through a lot of drafts. We really obsess over that. No stone gets left unturned with us. So we probably, how many do you write on them? Like 15 different versions of the script?
I think we landed on it was 15 before we started filming.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, we also set out to make this a short. We were convinced this would be a 10-minute movie.
And 10 pages in, we're not done.
Yeah.
So we expanded the reach of it. And I also remember in that it was like a fever state the entire time. The thing I kept saying is, God, we need a whiteboard. And we still don't have one. But well, it's at the school, so
right. But, I mean, you're both teachers, so you can borrow one. So
yeah.
Borrow one, but
yeah, totally. But having the chaos, I mean, we really thrive on the chaos. So having just the ideas floating around and being able to pluck them and throw them on a page was just the story just took form. And that first draft, I think we got it done in like 5 weeks. And then draft 15 was a year later. So, it's like, that's the process.
Right. And, so you get the script done, and then you say, okay, we have something that we want to create. So the next 2 steps are, I guess, funding, right? And then, afterwards is the casting. So how did by the way, it's, I think the movie's about 80 minutes. It's perfect. It's, it tells the story and it doesn't drag. So it's a nice, in the days of 3-hour and 3.5-hour epics, it was very welcome to see like a complete story told, in a good amount of time, in a basic movie time. But so, how did you go about getting the funding? Like, how did that happen?
So we finished the script, and obviously the first thing that we want to do once it's done is show it to people who might be able to give us some advice or steer us in the right direction. The immediate feedback that we got was that it's a great story, but this is just as wildly expensive. There's no way you could actually do this with we don't have just tens of millions of dollars to throw in this. So so for a while it was a pipe dream, and we were constantly thinking about it, constantly talking about it. How could we fund this? How could we do this? Could we do this for $5K? Is it possible? And then no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
I tried to convince them and a lot of people that it could be done.
We
and that's when we realized that this is really my father gave me this advice. He said, stop. He gave us this advice. He was talking to both of us. He was like, stop chasing money, chase resources.
Mhm.
And that's when we were like, okay, what do we got? And I realized, I work in a school that's always trying to, create more opportunities for kids to get, gain skills that you wouldn't necessarily learn in the classroom. We knew that there's like a booming, film industry in New York City. There's productions, everywhere you look. And there's a big gap, there's a huge need, there's a huge demand for manpower on these sets, but not enough people have the skills, and the other people that do, none of them are from, the Bronx. So we pitched this idea to my school to start a filmmaking program. And to kind of launch it, we thought, okay, let's get these students working on, an actual set. We tried it out with a few shorts, and then, through the resources we got from the school, who, New York City Department of Education was really supportive of us. They even found a way to get our students paid for working on set.
Oh, wow.
And once we were able to quantify, what they had given us, we were able to take that and actually sit down and have conversations with, our executive producers. And we were out of nowhere, we were, raising money, and, all of a sudden we were much closer to being able to roll camera than it being a pipe dream. Does that sound accurate on me?
Yeah,
No, that's incredible that you were able to do that.
Yeah, and also the process the funding didn't stop before production. It's like we entered production and we started getting really cool shots. And I started reaching out on my end to producers who had just completely ignored us with these crazy long takes and whatnot. And whereas before they ignored us, suddenly they were emailing me back, let's talk. So even as we were filming, we were getting more funding, which enabled us to, on the spot improvise and be like, let's do something way bigger, and we're so thankful for that. I mean, the timing, I wouldn't say it couldn't have been better. It would have been great to have had all this before we started, but the fact that we got it when we had it enabled us to create what you saw. So we're super pleased with that. And our proof of concept also came in handy too, which funnily enough was the explainer video that you watch like about twice throughout the film, narrated by Adam Shapiro, who's a phenomenal actor, and he was with us. He was the first actor who came on board with us. He believed in the project.
He was good.
Yeah. He was in Yiddish Fiddler here in New York. So he was already, had a great reputation and was clearly good at what he did. And you saw some of his talents in the film as he sang for the crowd.
Right. Yeah. So for instance, with the extra funding, you were able, I'm assuming you were able to do a bigger scene with the actual Yaniv tournament, right? More extras, bigger.
So, in our road to funding this movie, we got to a point where we were like, all right, we have everything set up, and we have enough resources and money to shoot everything outside of the Yaniv Club and the casino. But that is going to be really, really difficult to pull off because we need to build it all. So my grandfather was in the display business in Detroit. That was kind of our family business. And, it's not a direct link, but we have a cousin that's still kind of, his legacy, it's a separate business, but it's very much inspired by my grandfather's company. And, in Detroit is, a legend in the display and events industry. So, and he's a cinephile. He's just a movie lover. So I called him up, and we had talked before. He had said he'd always wanted to make a movie, but I realized he's got this facility. He's in the old Packard plant in Detroit, and he's got, sound stages, broadcasting booths, showrooms. He's got literally miles of props. He has everything. You would think you're on a Hollywood lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we called him up and we pitched this idea to him. We told him what we had been able to, muster up so far. And he loved the script and believed in us. And, he came on as an executive producer, and, his whole company for the 2 weeks we were in Detroit, we filmed half the movie in Detroit. They built us sets, they found us props. We got, thrown out of a synagogue. They got mad at us. We couldn't film there anymore. They built us a rabbi's office in about a half hour.
Oh, wow.
So that Rick Portwood, our executive producer in Detroit, I would say, more than anyone, he made this movie possible.
Wow. No, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful story. So what about if you wanted to say a few words about the rest of the cast? So obviously your students were in it, which I think is fantastic. After the movie, I looked you guys up and I was like, oh, he's a high school teacher. Oh, he probably used some of his real students. That's so cool. So
they were all his real students. Those are literally our students.
Right.
and Ben was literally their teacher too, like well before I came onto the scene and helped teach.
Right.
So it's more real than you think.
Is the woman who played Donovan, is she really your principal?
O'Donnell?
No.
She's
O'Donnell, yeah.
No, she is not the real principal. You've probably seen her in some Netflix shows, actually. She's a bit of a bigger name. Catherine Curtin. She's in Stranger Things and Orange is the New Black. She just happened to be available and interested in doing indie films. So it was such a privilege to be able to work with her. She was super fun and just really shared our energy and was able to think on the spot with us. So whereas maybe it seemed that she, this was her job for many, many years, that just goes to show her talent and just how well it worked with our production.
She had that jaded, civil servant look about her, so that was good.
Precisely right. It's a good description.
Now I have to go back to Stranger Things and see where she.
She's Dustin's mom. Yeah, she's one of the kids' moms.
She's Officer Wanda.
She's Dustin's mom? Oh my God. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I didn't recognize her. That's really funny. And what can you, the rest of the cast was very nice. What about, there was Annabelle Stevens played Deb, and then there was, who played your Zadie? What was his name again? Sorry.
Mitchell Fields,
can't recall.
Who was our high school theater teacher, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
In real life. Yeah.
He had that look of I thought he might be like a drama teacher or something like that. And where did you find Annabelle Stevens?
I went to college with her. Her and I did theater together in Boston.
Oh, okay.
And
oh, very cool. And so
Eli, who played Jonah, we met from restaurant work at a restaurant called Miznon here in New York. And just so happened he is an incredibly talented actor. And obviously this was many years ago. So many years later, we finally had a budget and we had a movie to make. And he was pretty much a perfect fit for this role, more so than we even understood. We had an audition tape, and his portrayal of Jonah was one that I didn't even consider, and just stole my heart right off the bat. So we ran with it.
He looks like you should already know who he is.
Yeah. He looks familiar. So I don't know if he looks familiar because he looks like other actors, or maybe there's a couple of small things I've
he looks like he should be familiar. He's just got that familiar face.
Yeah.
What he tells us is he gets a lot of Michael Fassbender and Joaquin Phoenix. He has that kind of
Fassbender. Yeah. He's got that look.
Rugged, handsome face, and like that. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's very cool. Listen, I have to say, at the part where they announce, you have to play you'll play the Rebbe and then you appear. That was the one laugh out loud moment that I had, and I was just like, oh my God, was the first half of the movie just a setup for that part? Because it was such a beautiful transition. You'll have to play the Rebbe. It reminded me of I don't know if you're Monty Python fans, but they had a skit where about the bishop. the bishop like is kind of, oh, you have to meet the bishop, and like he has priests that are kind of like his
Monty Python a lot,
Mhm.
especially while we were shooting those scenes. Our favorite sketch ever is Mr. Creosote from Meaning of Life.
The meaning
Sure.
of life, the Automuse. Yes, it's one of our main inspirations. We quote it endlessly on any given day. There's always an
Oh,
application.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because of that, we are obsessed with prosthetics, anything gooey and icky. There wasn't a lot of that in the movie, but that was our one chance to, or really Amnon's. And he's going to tell you how much he hated having that mask on, but he was running around our hotel in Detroit dressed in that mask, scaring guests. So he's kind of born to do
That
this
was
type of stuff.
yeah, that was a childhood fantasy of mine that I finally got to live out. And it was not as fun. I mean, the messing with people was very fun, but trying to direct in that mask, talk about method acting, because I could, I was playing this 100-year-old spiritual leader who could neither hear nor see anything, very much, as if I was that age, and just
Right.
trying to get direction and understand what was going on. I mean, I literally couldn't see anything. And I had like pretty much a consistent migraine for hours at a time. I was just taking ibuprofen like whenever like at the right increments, whenever I could.
Mhm.
It was worth it, but I won't even hold on to that mask. I gave it to our prosthetics artist, and I just said, just hold on to this until the next production. I need a very long break from that, but it was definitely worth it. As you saw, yes, we, in some ways, yeah, maybe we did write the story around that. Not really, but we did choose that song that played way ahead of time, and we got the rights to it and made sure that we could use it because it just hit every chord right.
Right.
Yeah. So
and the one of the hardest roles to cast was his handler, who ended up being played by the guy who was our boom operator.
yeah.
Oh, really?
We had a few people lined up that it was just a curse. It was just a cursed role. Like people were lined
You
up
always
and
have
then they
one.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Sam, and another great thing about this movie is just that we had to, in order to get this done, we had to utilize people that we knew from every facet of our lives, from
Right.
our small hometown, Jewish summer camp, college, restaurants, everyone. And this guy, Sam, was, someone we grew up with that, honestly, we kind of lost touch with. Just the goofiest guy ever. And, we were freaking out. It was like the day before we went into production, like, who's going to play this role? And it
Right.
just kind of hit us, and we both started cracking up. And then he was great.
He was flawless. I
No,
mean,
it's great. It's almost like, I don't know if you've heard this British Jewish film from a few years ago called Leon the Pig Farmer.
oh,
No.
the name. I haven't seen that one, but I have heard about that. Yeah.
Look it up, but it's basically the same thing. The main star was like I think the writer and director, and got everybody involved that he could, family and friends, and so forth and so on, and got and managed to get like a couple for England, a couple of stars like Connie Booth, from Faulty Towers was in it.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Oh, we love
And
Faulty
one or two
Towers.
others, but look it up when you get a chance. Leon the Pig Farmer, brilliant movie.
Cool.
Well, I mean, listen, this is a wonderful first. It's your first feature length for both of you, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful love project. So this is for both of you, this is great. Have your students seen it yet?
Not in full. We've been very
Not in
tempted
full.
to send it to them, but we really want them to see it on the big screen. They're not happy about that, but teachers have to be mean.
Yeah.
How long was the shoot, and when did you shoot it?
We started like beginning of July last summer, 2022, and it went on for about 25 days, including days off. So it was about 19 days of shooting. Yeah, it was a mad dash, without a doubt. We got lucky sometimes. Most of the times we were not lucky. But that's just the beauty of indie. I mean, it is a living creative process. It takes on a mind of its own. and it really just kind of develops its own soul, which you can then just kind of carve out in the edit. I mean, you know, as writers, we anticipated great things. Did we anticipate this exact result? Who could have? It's
Well, the whole concept of, I mean, you're taking what's and it's interesting to me because you're taking like an Israeli card game and you're putting it in a totally different milieu. Like, do you remember from either whose idea was it to like have it set up like as an Orthodox, Brooklyn, secret, gambling card game? Whose concept was
That was both of us. We by Fabringen at Chabad.
that?
I mean, I think there's multiple Fabringens, but there's the main Fabringen at 770 Chabad headquarters in Brooklyn. And I've gone a couple times with my dad. Amnon won't go anywhere near there for good reason. He's a little claustrophobic, but I always tell him all about it. And it's just, it's like this secret party. Nobody knows about it, but it's the coolest thing ever. So that's the vibe he and I are always exploring. So it just it was almost unspoken, but we knew it had to be that way.
And it also answers this kind of like age-old
Right.
question that people in the city, and both Jews and non-Jews alike, there's so much mystery around the Hasidic community. So granted, we're not answering any questions here for real. I mean, this is fantasy,
Right.
but it fills that place, and it allows you to explore this, huge what if. And we love committing to the realism of that. I mean, we had crew members who on the last night of shooting were like, so these Yaniv clubs really exist, right? And we're like, guys, you just helped us make this up. Like, what are you talking about? In our heads.
It'd be
Yeah, of
nice
course they
to
exist.
imagine, like, you guys had some secret knowledge, right? They thought you had some secret knowledge about these. Listen, you might start a trend. You never know.
Someone said to me recently, like, it's really good that you guys are showing the world that these clubs exist.
It's like showing the world,
you're welcome.
What goes on in New York. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we'll do it every day.
The secret expose.
Yeah. It's a
That's
documentary.
brilliant.
I don't know if you could tell. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you like to see happen with this movie?
Well, you want to start this one up, Ben?
Well, we're currently in the midst of screening it around the country. We've been booking it at indie theaters. We've been mainly focused on the East Coast right now, but we're going to go to Chicago in March, and Milwaukee, and just kind of follow the hype. We have a lot of people that have been reaching out to us via social media and our website requesting screenings of the film. So we're giving the people what they want. We're Amnon and I are filmmakers, but we also realize it's a business and we want to buck the trend and make a profit, and we feel that we're confident we're on our way to that. So
I mean, we're at this point, we are estimating that we'll make back our budget in the next year, which is which is a wonderful thing for indie filmmakers to be able to say.
Sure.
With that in mind, we are chomping at the bit here with our ideas for our next projects. Continuing in the Yaniv world as well. We have a sequel outlined, a spin-off series starring Mendy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We're this is not the end by any means. I mean, this is just the beginning for us, as well as many other stories.
We're also interested in, as we screen this film, hosting events, teaching people how to play Yaniv. Amnon and I both believe this game should be in every casino in America. So, we're about getting the movie, the movie marketed, and also the game and the culture surrounding it. So, don't be surprised if you see, an interactive Yaniv event.
In fact, we have been implementing
that Seminole Indian Casino in Hollywood, Florida. So
yeah. Oh, there you go. That's
if you have a connection, we'd be happy to talk to them. We really we think Florida would be very friendly.
Yeah.
Florida would be very friendly to all of our crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Right. No, that would be really, really cool. So so you're going to continue. You already have an idea for a sequel. Have you started writing it yet, or it's percolating?
We have it outlined. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, we have an outline. This one takes place in Argentina.
A whole network of Yaniv clubs.
Yeah.
You know, inflation in Argentina is really bad. You know, the
Right.
club is really struggling with the peso. So this movie centers on, you know, a mission of, you know, smuggling American dollars to Buenos
Right.
Aires.
Well, you know, there was, you know, back in the day, like there was a region of Argentina that a lot of Jews moved to and set up colonies, set up farms and stuff like that. So there is, you know, there's always an interesting Jewish connection with Argentina that you can create as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's very good,
Whole
gentlemen. So
no,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go. I have nothing to say.
So you have this, and like, you know, anything else on the horizon that we should look out for? Are you guys still, you know, trying to do? I know you're a teacher, Ben, but is there anything else that you guys are have auditioned for, or anything that that we should be looking out for?
We're continuing to produce our own work. We've, you know, made a few shorts recently that, you know, they're a little bit more student focused, but that are quality that we're really proud of, looking to showcase. We just had a documentary that screened at the New York City Department of Education Film Festival that was really well received.
Oh, nice. About what?
It was a student created documentary about, you know, the initiative at our school to start a writing center. But now, you know, we're taking on, we're doing a lot more experimental stuff. And I know Amnon's doing some performing as well. So
Yes, I'm getting back into the world of live performance as well, which is one of the things that was always part of my life. You know, in many ways, it's after you create something like a feature, it's as much as you're ready to start the next one, it's important to take breaks, right? I mean,
Right.
this is our blood, sweat, and this is our life force. You know, we may have lost a few years of our life just at the end there, just by what we went through here. It's important that we make sure we focus on ourselves, because if we're to be creative, we need to be doing things that promote that in our own independent ways. As much as Ben and I have our similarities, even there we have our differences, and it's a great thing.
Right.
So we focus on that. We've also really developed, as much as we want to continue developing the world of Yaniv through film, I'm creating an animated series that is actually starting this Christmas. I guess that's a little teaser, though this will be seen well after that, so this will already be common knowledge then. But beyond that, also, we have made a very thorough merch store where we have a lot of really fun sort of Jewish presenting gear. So it's not like too hard focused on the Jewish stuff, but it's elements that other people would look at and be like, hey, oh yeah, Shabbat. Oh yeah, you know, things like that. So, and that's the business side of things, right? So as much as it's a creative business, it is a business. So we're just kind of juggling it all and just seeing how it feels and just letting it kind of simmer. We know we're gonna, the way Yaniv happened is like we were spitballing, and then one of those ideas snowballed. So it's only a matter of time before the next snowball.
Right.
Yeah. So we're biding our time, but we are our fingers on the pulse of the next big project.
Well, that's great. That's great, and I wish you continued success with promoting Yaniv, and I hope you do like make and surpass your budget and get as many people as possible to see it. You know, here it is at the Miami Jewish Film Festival. I'm sure they'll be doing other film festivals in the circuit as well. So, Amnon, I want to thank you very much and Ben very much for joining us, and we're very honored to be screening Yaniv and your first feature-length film. So thank you, gentlemen, and best of luck for the future. I do want to once again thank all of our sponsors, our members, community partners, and our film lovers, the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, and of course the Center for Advancement of Jewish Education. And I hope you do manage to see some of our films and enjoy what we have to offer this year with the Miami Jewish Film Festival. Thank you all again. Good night.